In this video, we're going to be looking at the Amplifier DApp, which is now live on the Pulse Chain testnet, and looking at the other PowerCity dApps that are live on the Pulse Chain mainnet. So with no further ado, let me bring up my partner in crime, Mr. Just Ask Jesse in the house.
Hey, y'all.
Good to see you, man. I see that your video isn't turned on today. I'm guessing your makeup artist didn't turn up, so you got to just do audio, right?
Exactly. I happen to be at a ball game. Stepped away to give a quick update to the community, and don't want to show all these other people and stuff around me. So that's why the avatar.
Sure. So, as we know, or maybe people don't know who are watching, the Amplifier DApp is now live on the Pulse Chain testnet, right?
The amplifier is live on the testnet. It is connected into the Liquid Loans testnet, so that people can give it a go, give it a try. And what it is it's a front end, right? So you've got options. You can go to the Liquid Loans team created front end. That front end interacts directly with the Liquid Loans contracts, which are immutable and unchangeable. But you can also go to this front end, and it also interacts with the same contracts, which are immutable and unchangeable. Now, you're welcome to do the normal operations manually. You can put in some collateral, mint yourself some stable coins. You can put some of those in the stability pool, earn some loan tokens, or you can put some loan tokens in the staking pool, and you can earn some Pulse, and you can earn some USDL, right? All that you can do manually, just like you could do over at the Liquid Loans front end. There are additional functions, however, that you're able to do with this front end, should you choose, that you're not able to do on other front ends. You can compound all, right? So you can tell the protocol ahead of time what you like to do with all your various rewards, so that instead of coming in and having to click a button and claim and then go to a different page and then take those tokens and stake them and do a whole bunch of different transactions, you basically told the protocol ahead of time, the front end ahead of time, this is what I like to do. And now whenever you log in, you connect into this front end, you hit one single button and it does all of that for you. It claims, it stakes, it moves those assets exactly where you pre-told it where you want them to go, all with one click of a button. So that is an amazing function, but it doesn't end there. You can also make it where you don't even have to hit any buttons. So you can tell the front end ahead of time, this is what I want to do with various strategies. And then, every day the protocol will run your strategy for you automatically. All you have to do is fund your front end with some gas. Okay. There's a gas meter and it tells you how much, you have left and all. And as long as that thing has some gas in there, it'll do everything for you every single day. Right. So it's quite powerful. You can use it again manually. You can use it where you just have to click one single button to do all the things you like to do, or you can set it into automation mode and it does everything that you told it for you daily.
Like you said before, even with our other protocols, with Flex or Earn, like you can dip your toe in the water, just being a staker or a stability provider, or you can go full in. And the amplifier is like that, but probably even more in depth in the fact that you can set up automation. And on the screen there, we can see 4 strategies that you could choose from, or you can even go custom. So you've got the Pulse Stacker strategy, and that basically is for people that want to stack Pulse. We've got Mailbox Money strategy, which is stake USDL in the stability pool to farm loan and stake loan for fees, compound half the fees and retain half as passive income. So that's done all automatically, right, Jesse?
Correct. And we kind of went through what the community likes to do with various strategies. Over in the Liquid Loans Telegram, especially towards the earlier days, there was a lot of people developing the ideas of what they wanted to do with this sort of protocol. And strategy names came about, and charts and graphs of what each strategy would do. So we kind of took those, we saw what was most popular, and we said, well, let's put those inside of our protocol. Now, to protect those those users and the names and stuff. Some of the names are different, okay, but the strategies themselves and what they do may be identical. Just read underneath each strategy exactly what it's going to do, and you'll recognize, oh, that's it's called this one over there, but it's called this one over on this front end.
Hmm. Yeah. So basically, you were looking at what people were liking already. That's why we came up with these 4 strategies, and then there's a custom strategy. But before we go to that, we've also got the half and half strategy, which is using collateral to borrow and accumulate USDL, stake that in stability pool and farm loan, and stake loan to earn fees and compound back into the Trove and stability pool. And then also the passive pulse strategy, which is, sorry, if I click on the arrows, it describes it here in text. Stake loan to earn loan fees, compound back in the Trove to accumulate PLS. So, and then there's the custom. Can we talk about that a bit more? What people could do with their own custom strategy?
Yeah, so with custom, they can pretty much do anything they want, right? So instead of a predefined strategy that you just click and then you just set your parameters, there's a lot more control in telling it, this is what I want to do with each of those rewards. Just a little bit more complex for people who want to go real deep into the weeds of things.
So like you said, you could just come in here and use it as a basic front end, just like the liquid loans front end, open a vault, add to the stability pool, add to the staking pool, or you could get as granular as you want and turn on automation. To do automation, if anyone's interested in that, you're going to have to pre-fund it with gas, which is very simple. You can find all the tutorials on our YouTube channel. But once you've pre-funded it with gas, then you're saving yourself 5, 7, 10, 12 clicks, right? Because normally if you were doing this manually, you're doing multiple clicks to do to pay multiple gas fees, correct?
Correct. Yep. 100%. And I would like to add, those other functions that are necessary to the protocol, such as the liquidation functions, those are accessible through here too. The redemption function, those are accessible through this front end as well. So everything that you're familiar with on the standard base liquid loans built front end, you will find all of those same functions inside of this front end.
Yep. So as basic or as granular as you like. You want to go into the weeds and really go into automation, then you can use one of the 4 predefined strategies, or you can go into custom and do whatever tickles your fancy. So this is now live on the testnet, guys. If you want to try it out, I'll drop the link below in the description box, and anyone can go and try it out. When might we see this for mainnet, Jesse?
Well, we are collecting some feedback. So far, it's all been real positive. This has already been audited, by the way. So if we made any major changes, we'd have to go back to audit. But we still, there's some certain things we can change on the front end if people, let's just pretend people had complained a whole bunch about a slider bar or like a percentage display thing. We do have the ability to kind of tweak the imagery to make things more appealing to the eye if that's what the community had wanted. But at the moment, the people who are using the testnet say that it looks great. So maybe another couple weeks of gathering the feedback. Again, so far it's all been pretty positive, and we'll be able to go to mainnet.
Awesome. And if anyone's used to using liquid loans or the Flex protocol or the Earn protocol, quite similar, a nice clean user face, user experience. You can see, big buttons there, big text, and everything's laid out. As long as you take your time to go through it, it should be self-explanatory. But if not, we've got tutorials on our YouTube. You can jump into our Telegram as well to ask any questions if anyone has any queries about it. So Amplify is live on the testnet, guys. You can go and use that now. Let's jump over. Actually, let me switch the network so we can show something else on the testnet at the moment. But if we go to the Pulse Chain mainnet and we jump over to the Flex protocol, which is still obviously, of course, it's still live, but there's still opportunities for LP staking here, right?
Absolutely. So there's LP staking of Hex DC paired to Hex, Flex paired to Hex, but then also PulseX compared to Earn, right? So let's say that you're in Earn protocol LPer. You really like to do that, and you like the rewards associated with that. Well, those have continued. You just have to bring those LP tokens over to this protocol and stake them over here, and you'll get paid out in some Flex tokens, right? So it was a way to extend those rewards, basically. Since Earn protocol is immutable, we can't just mint tokens out of thin air or anything like that. We said, well, how do we continue to incentivize those pools? Oh, well, we'll just create a way to incentivize them with Flex token, right? So when we launched Flex, we were able to do that.
So if anyone's interested in LPing either Hex DC for Hex LPing pair, Flex for Hex, or like you said, the PulseX and Earn, which is obviously finished over inside the Earn protocol, but you can go and LP on PulseX, come back in here, bring your PLP tokens, and you're looking at yield between 18.76% at the lowest up to nearly 40%, 38.84% in the Flex Hex pool. So that's way more than you'd be getting in TradFi or Legacy Finance, right?
Oh yeah, way more, right? So I think you can get maybe a 5% return if you lock up your funds for 12 or 13 months in a certificate of deposit. And here, there's no lockups, right? You can exit or enter at any point with no penalties or anything like that in any of the staking pools. And the yield is much better. We'll say around 18% or so. So yeah, I'd say it's significantly better.
Also, you're not just getting paid in anything, you're getting paid in a token that has utility as well, and you can stake the Flex token. So yield on top of yield, essentially.
Yep, and I'd say what you tend to see with these protocols is when the bull market really comes about and the collateral tokens value goes up, you tend to see people taking more or bigger loans. If first off, the people who are already in the protocol, they notice that their collateral health just keeps increasing because the value of their collateral keeps going up, right? So now they're able to mint more and more and more stable coins. But then also there's people on the outside who haven't even used the protocol yet who say, oh, wow, look at all the value from me holding PulseX or from me holding some Hex or whatever. And they say, well, I could sell it or I could collateralize against it, right? So you tend to see new people come in as there's major pumps, or especially during parabolic times when people are looking for ways to extract some value. So in bull markets, I think what you'll see is those staking rewards. Remember, whenever somebody takes a loan, they pay a fee, it goes to the stakers. Whenever somebody does a redemption, they pay a fee, it goes to the stakers. I think during a real big bull market, you start to see those stakers start collecting a lot more, which in turn, theoretically should make the token itself become more valuable, right? Yeah. So if Pulse pumps, you hear the thing that everything pumps with Pulse because everything's kind of connected to Pulse. There is some truth to that for a number of reasons, not just because of the pairings, the two things paired together, but also just the mechanics of people taking loans during bull markets and then rewards being fed, which makes the token more desirable, right? So
keep an eye on basically these protocols as the bull market returns.
Yeah, it's a bull market returns. Keep an eye on the protocol and watch what happens.
And we've got a great comment here from Turin, and it's a good segue. What staked in the PowerCity core gets you fees from all the PowerCity protocols? Don't miss out. So we've been talking about individual protocols, but we have many. And let's actually hop over to the core just so we can touch on what is the core, right? The center of the PowerCity ecosystem.
Yeah, so the core was a way. So look, each of these protocols that we've created is its own little ecosystem, right? You got Flex protocol, it could live all by itself. You got Burn protocol, it could live by itself. Of course, you got Portal X, which is the aggregator, cross-chain swapper essentially that can live all by itself. But we wanted, you know, we kind of wanted our own token that had a use case, and you know, people could speculate with it if they wanted to and have a good time with it. So we created these essentially encapsulated stake NFTs, that you know, people can buy some watt, they can stake that watt, or they can stake LP of watt paired to pulse, and then in doing so, they also collect a percentage of the fees from each of our protocols that we've launched. So, like I said, each of the protocols is its own ecosystem. However, the core essentially is a participant, is a staker in each one of those protocols. And the staking rewards that the core collects through the collector contract gets divvied out to all of the individual stakers inside of the core.
So you could, I think we've touched on this before, but essentially you could be staked in two places, right? Or you could be earning fees in two places. Sorry.
You could be earning fees in two places.
Or multiple places.
Right. Maybe you don't want to necessarily be a user of any of these protocols, and you want to take the simple route and be as diverse as possible in our things. You know, you have an option to just participate in the core, and collect some fees from all of the things that we've created, if that's the route that you want to take.
And like any of our protocols, like the amplifier or like Flex or Earn, and the same with our protocol, you could dip your toe in by just being involved in one protocol such as Flex or Earn or amplifier or any of the coming protocols, or you could be, I think many of our community are using multiple protocols. So Flex, Earn, Portal-X Swap. So they're using it, they're getting value from it, and also they're staked in multiple places and earning fees.
Yeah, absolutely. And the interesting thing about Portal-X is we are looking at on-chain activity from users that aren't even in Pulse Chain, right? So I and some others have kind of marketed to some other, like to some Telegram rooms that aren't really heavy Pulse Chain, and you know, placed some explainers on what Portal-X is out there. And now we're seeing all sorts of people on all of these obscure chains use Portal-X, and a lot of those wallets aren't even connected in any way to Pulse Chain. So, but all of these protocols have a fee. So even those users, they're paying a fee for those services. Where does that fee go? Well, it finds its way into Pulse Chain. It kind of is a little bit of a pump-a-metal for the PLS coin, and then that gets divvied out to the stakers in the core.
Yep. So, I mean, people that aren't even involved in Pulse Chain, they're using a DAPP that we created, and it's also buying PLS, and it's also bringing PLS, Pulse Chain, the whole of the Pulse Chain ecosystem onto their radar. So, so yeah, multiple benefits and positives. Well, I think that's about it for today, Jesse. Thanks for your time. I think any closing words to anyone watching today?
There's a lot of interesting things happening in the news lately that all seem to be very crypto positive. So it turns out that Trump is going to speak at the Bitcoin conference here in a few days. He said some words about how he's going to defend people's rights to hold their own crypto, and he's going to try and keep institutions away from building a CBDC, right? But then today I started reading that the other side, Kamala Harris, is also going to speak there, supposedly. I don't know how true that is. It's all over the place on Twitter. So if that's the case, that means no matter who gets elected, you know, it could be very positive for crypto. Governments are maybe coming to the realization that there's just so many darn crypto holders that they can't stop us. So if they want votes, they need to play along or something, right? So That's very positive. There's a lot of other positive things happening in the crypto world that is causing some pumps lately, and maybe the beginning stages of a bull market. So it's pretty cool.
Good stuff. Well, you're going to be there, right? At the
I will be, myself and a whole bunch of other quote hexicans and other founders from various protocols will be at the Bitcoin conference. We're going to try and do some networking and outreach, tell people about Pulse Chain. We'll have some shirts to pass out. We'll have booths set up. Big K, the big Kurkowski, he'll have a booth set up at the conference for the highest of stakes, and it's gonna be cool. There's gonna be a lot of Pulse Chain founders there and big influencers from Pulse Chain, and we're just gonna do our best to outreach to people.
Awesome, man. Well, kudos to you guys for flying the flag for Power City and Pulse Chain and all the other Pulse Chain influencers. Thanks, man, and I'll see you next week.
Yep. All right. See ya. Thank you.
And guys, we want you to use the amplifier DAPP. We want your feedback before it goes to the mainnet, so we have everything, all our T's crossed and our I's dotted. So if you want to use the amplifier DAPP, it's amplifier.powercity.io. Thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next one.